The Bureau of Labor Statistics released their employment reports last week. In those reports, the number of employees on official payrolls increased by over 300,000 in May. Also, according to those reports, the unemployment rate jumped to 3.7%, the highest level since October. So, if we have more payroll jobs this month than we did last month, how is it that unemployment continues to jump up? Somebody's telling a damn lie. Hello and welcome back to Lean on Success, where process improvement is self-improvement. My name is Ben. I'm a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt, and today we're going to discuss the dichotomy in the Bureau of Labor Statistics data.
Hit the like button and please subscribe so my daddy can get me new toys. Thanks!
This is a snippet from the May 2023 payroll report released by the Bureau of Labor and Statistics earlier this month. These numbers are represented in thousands, and they show the total number of employees appearing on official payrolls. So these are W-2 employees primarily. What we see is that the total number of non-farm employees on payroll reached 156 million in May of 2023. This is an increase of 339,000 over the April number. This is a snippet from a different report that shows the total number of people who are employed as of May 2023. As you can see, that number decreased to 160.7 million in May of 2023. That's a decrease of 310,000 from April. Okay, now that just doesn't make any sense. How can the number of payroll employees go up when the total number of people who are employed go down in the same month? Well, in order to answer that question, we need to take a closer look at exactly what this data is telling us. Another snippet from the 2023 employment report shows that the number of people who recently lost their job or completed a temporary job increased by 318,000. So just another point of contention against those payroll numbers. Now, those numbers are very consistent when you look at the initial claims for unemployment tracked since 2021. Based on this report, we're currently at 261,000 initial claims for unemployment. People who are filing unemployment for either the first time or for the first time in a long time. That number is the highest it's been since October of 2021. Now, wait a minute. How in the world did 318,000 people lose their jobs in May, yet 339,000 additional people were added to payrolls in the same month? I think we need to look at a little something we like to call the gig economy. Now, the gig economy refers to the group of people who don't work your standard W-2 payroll jobs, but they work gigs instead. Now, this used to be limited to just musicians, entertainers, people of that nature. But we've seen in recent years an explosion in the gig economy by people who are starting their own small businesses, whether it be through Uber, DoorDash, things of that nature. The numbers that we see related to this group of people are pretty alarming. This chart shows the total number of W-2 employees or people on payroll in the orange against the total number of people employed in blue. Up until 2022, both of these lines were increasing at roughly the same rate. The blue line and the orange line on the left side are roughly parallel to each other. However, you can see starting in 2022, the gap or the distance between these two lines started to narrow significantly. What this means is that we're seeing a fewer number of people who are non-payroll workers or gig economy workers. Here's another graph based on the previous one that shows the gap between payroll employees and total number of employees. We're going to call these non-payroll laborers. Now, prior to the pandemic, we saw this peak out at around 7 million. We see that up until 2022, the number of non-payroll laborers increased back to near pre-pandemic levels of 6.8. However, you can see since the beginning of 2022, that number has plummeted significantly and is currently below 5 million. As much as these reports are telling us that jobs are constantly being added to the economy, what they're not telling us, and what I just illustrated, is that this gig economy, these non-payroll workers, that population of people has been shrinking over the last 2 years. I think that there are a few reasons for us seeing this shrink in the gig economy. Number one, I think that inflation is having a significant impact on the gig workers' ability to continue to run their businesses. When you think about the cost of fuel, the cost of food, all of the expenses associated with running a gig are significantly higher and are outpacing the amount of compensation that these workers are able to get for their particular gigs. I think also all of the changes that we're seeing with the work from home policies are causing people to have to relocate or change their living situations. And this is directly contributing to people having to decrease the amount of time they have dedicated to their part-time gigs. So despite all of these numbers and despite everything that's going on right now, I believe that this recessionary period that we are entering creates a fantastic opportunity for a person to change careers or to go into a new direction. Here are a few examples of industries I believe will start booming as we get later into the summer and towards the fall. The first industry I believe is going to start booming during the recession is moving and storage. We've already seen how ridiculous home prices are and what's happening with all the volatility in the housing market. This is going to create opportunities for people to have to move out of their old places and to change their living situation. Whenever that happens, you're going to see an increase in things like U-Hauls, moving trucks, storage facilities. They're continuing to build these things completely out of control. So I believe that moving and storage is going to be a really great industry to break into and will create a lot of jobs as we enter into the recession later this summer. The second one is social assistance. This is any type of private social work that you would think about. We know that our country is in a mental health crisis. We have more people than ever that are in desperate need of mental health services and other social services. And this is also partially due to a jump in homelessness and food insecurity due to the inflation. So as we enter into the recession, the need and the demand for social assistance is only going to significantly increase. The next one is food services. Now, this may seem a little bit counterintuitive because you think that in a recession, people will actually go to eat out less, which means that the restaurants would suffer. But I would argue that food services has been in a pretty dramatic labor shortage ever since the pandemic started and never recovered. I believe that food services will continue to be one of the industries that are going to be looking to hire people. And finally, private education. When people lose their jobs, as we're starting to see, one of the things that they look for is to enhance their education. They want to go back to school or gain a certification or do something to advance their careers. I believe that the demand for private education is going to absolutely explode over the next 6 to 12 months. Did you find any of this interesting? Did I completely bore you to death? Did I get something totally wrong? Let me know down in the comments. Share this video with your friends. Until next time.